Joe.
Hey, Sherman, how are you? Good to see you again.
Yeah, great to see you, and exciting time. I mean, we had a wonderful day, even if it's only one day in the gold market and the gold and silver market today. And you had some wonderful, exciting results. As usual, I'm sitting here in the beautiful Okanagan. You can tell from my flowery shirt. And I wanted to do a couple things today, I guess. First of all, thanks for taking a few minutes today.
Absolutely.
I think there's a couple things that I wanted to chat with you about. I mean, obviously, I wanted to go into the stunning results that you put out today. I'm here with Joe Hebert, who's the Chief Executive Officer of Outcrop Silver and Gold, and maybe to set the stage for our listeners. I think it's always worthwhile to build a little bit of awareness for investors about what some of the key things that they should think about. And I've always believed, and I didn't make this up, this is sort of linked to in some ways to modern portfolio theory, is that as investors we need to first look at our overall asset allocation. Secondly, we need to look at, okay, well, what sector do we want to be in? And I think it's safe to say, and I think Joe would agree with me, that investors need to have a consistent exposure to silver and gold assets. And there's different ways to do that. So once you've decided that overall you're going to be an investor, then you're going to have an allocation into the gold sector. Then the question becomes, how do you get the exposure to that gold sector? Well, what we've been able to do over many, many years is, rather than buying an index fund for golds or gold bullion, gold bullion can be part of your portfolio, is individual security selection becomes very, very important. If an investor is going to go out and choose an individual stock to add it to their portfolio, you must do your homework. And that homework is really, derived by, I like to think of the 3 Ps of having the right people, having the right project, and paying the right price. So with Outcrop Silver and Gold, we've got an excellent management team led by Joe Hebert and some fantastic long-term shareholders. We've got an incredible project in Colombia, and then we've got a really what I consider to be a very low market cap for the quality of assets. So once you've done your homework, that creates the foundation of whether you're going to buy or sell. So, and it's really important for investors. You've picked the allocation, you've picked the sector you want to be in, then you got to pick an individual stock. Well, you got to know what it's worth relative to the price that you're paying. That's sort of the magic of investing properly. So I guess with that as a background, we were really fortunate to have Joe, who can tell us about a great company, which is Outcrop Silver and Gold. And I think 2 things I wanted to talk about. One was, maybe 3, is sort of the dynamics of the silver and gold market, which were really shown today, where we had the Fed only increased by 75 basis points, and for investors, basis points just means a measure of how much interest rates are going to go up. So the market responded really nicely, and the gold sector really took off. I don't know how much gold ended up and silver today, but it was a really positive day. And I think it just highlights that a good silver and gold company in your portfolio makes a lot of sense. So gold and silver is an asset class that I think I'd love to get your views on where we're at in that space. But secondly, a really interesting development in Colombia, because Colombia is as it's a jurisdiction that I really like. I've been there. I've been on the site visit with Joe, and the Aris GCM gold deal that was announced this week, I think, was testimony to what's going on in Colombia. Ian Telfer and Peter Maroney. I mean, if you look at the board of directors of Aris Gold, there's a significant commitment. And we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars that these guys are investing on behalf of shareholders in Colombia. So I think love to hear what you think of that deal. And then I guess third is, just to update us on Outcrop and the stunning results that you got today. And with that, I'll turn it over to you, Joe.
Yeah, I think any of the deals, Aris and the other ones that have kind of come to the fore, and then also some companies kind of really hitting their stride, like in like like in Segovia and whatnot.
Hmm.
I think that, and then the other thing with silver is, silver has always been, silver has always been regarded as having more upside potential in a secular bull market than gold, actually. And then you also have, and you've always had the industrial appeal of silver or use of silver. And now, really, I mean, with respect to the actual demand of silver in EV electric vehicles, it's like it's going to reach a point where there's an actual real deficit and a substantial deficit, and really not in that great of a that much of a time. So I think that those kind of deals you see like this morning and whatnot are just a good reflection on. You can go to Colombia, you can find tremendous outcropping deposits. Honestly, I don't want to denigrate a place like Nevada because I really spent most of my career there. But there's really a difference when you get to frontier areas, and that in itself is a de-risking. You de-risk a company if they're in a great jurisdiction, and basically a geologist walks over outcropping mineralization. If you look at, I get a frequent question with respect to how deep is Santa Ana? How deep is Santa Ana? It's basically 0 to 400. It all outcrops, and so it's a very straightforward method of exploration, which is also more bang for the buck for the exploration dollars and for the capital raised, and it's just a great place for a good geologist to work. Regarding the outstanding assays, I almost feel like I should say I'm surprised, but I'm really not, because we're starting to see some consistency to it. Basically, our best project hole to date was in June in Maris, and Maris was still continuing to drill good-looking assays, good-looking rock in, and then the next project, best project to date, was in Naranjos just yesterday or the day before, and day before yesterday. And really, what we're starting to see is we're seeing three things, I think. One, we're seeing a clear epithermal overprep now that really wasn't that prevalent before, and kind of an accident of erosion where the Spaniards were mainly working that had been eroded away. Now we're in kind of three phases of mineralization: 2 mesothermal events and a strong epithermal event, and we're starting to see metals: native gold, native silver, native electrum, and pyragorite. And I mean, when you see it, we just kind of put it in the press release as a picture teaser, but it means good assays are coming. And also we ought to by now, but we're also getting, particularly from some of the LiDAR we're getting some lineament intersections with the main structures that are becoming predictive. And it's just like, oh, okay, so here we need to go in and put our panel right there. And then we'll see greater mineralization. And another really exciting thing that will come forward after this first resource report is we made a decision to drill fast, drill shallow, put chutes in inventory, and come back later and to drill the deeper, slower, more expensive holes, just a matter of our timing with respect to the 50 million silver equivalent ounces we want to put out. And so we'll be right back coming behind that. We've got sections for preparing, and that third rig will be basically drilling right under mineralization, and we'll have another good flow of good assays from that rig alone. So it's just it's fantastic deposit. The grade is just really, I mean, maybe there's 3 projects in the whole world with that kind of grade. I think maybe 3 out of the 10 or 11 really big primary silver projects, only 3 of them are above 800 grams silver equivalent per ton. And with these kind of assays we're seeing now, we have a 550 to a 750 gram silver equivalent guidance on our resource, but every time we hit that high grade, it's a better and better likelihood that we are also going to maybe see some higher grades for the resource. And I tell you, right now, the kind of the holy grail we're chasing is Silvercrest plus Chispus, 879 grams gold. We're 3 times the vein system they have. And if we can just, put out something that is close to a world-class grade, it's just, I can only see the value, the market realization of what we have, and when we prove it by putting out the resource, that we'll see a substantial re-rating of the price.
Let's just maybe, chat a little bit about that valuation side, Joe, because I mean, clearly, we're hitting all the key is to continue to advance and have great success like we're having, is talk a little bit about the market cap. We got a sub $20 million market cap with Outcrop. And I know we've done this in previous calls, but maybe just to update our investors and listeners, like, what's the size of the prize here, and, relative, and also some examples in your mind that of similar type companies that are trading at higher valuations.
Well, an easy one to look at really is BlackRock Silver, because of the timing of their resource statement.
Mm-hmm.
They released 42.6 million silver equivalent ounces at 446 grams silver equivalent per ton. From probably maybe a 12-month or so runway, they have 5 times the market cap we do. And sometimes that market cap is expressed in what people see as a enterprise value dollar per ounce. That's also directly attributed to grade. And it's not linear. It's exponential. So it's just, honestly, it's frustrating for me that to be valued where we are. On the other hand, it's a good time to buy.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for our listeners, just to clarify, and that's what we were talking about, the quality of the project, the quality of the people, and the price. The price is the market cap. In other words, it's like, different if you walk into a grocery store, that's the price, that's what you're paying. So if you see an asset, no matter where it is, at significantly low price relative to the value, and I was at the BlackRock site visit as well, so I understand what you're talking about. So you've got BlackRock with $100 million market cap and Outcrop with a $20 million. It's just an amazing buy signal. So I agree with you.
Yeah, and we don't have our resource yet, but it's pending. It's getting close now. BlackRock has the resource out, and there's got to be some coming together of that price differential. It's got to be.
Well, I can tell you this, Joe. I was on a call this morning with a big retail broker at CIBC Wood Gundy, and he's really tied in with some of the investment banking guys who are tied in with the funds. And a lot of the funds, these big fund managers have kind of taken the summer off. They're sitting on a lot of cash, and they're gonna be deploying that cash. So I think it does really create an opportunity. Right now when we've had some really low prices and a lot of resource stocks, especially the juniors, that have been in some cases cut more than in half.
Oh yeah,
it's really a buyer's market right now.
It is, and I agree with you completely. I have to say it's people, obviously, but grade is a real de-risker of projects. The projects that do not make it or stall out, it's often a factor of grade. Either hostage to the price, hostage to inflation, inflationary costs with respect to mining. But if you got a grade that's the margin is barely compressed, when you lower the price or raise your costs, it's just a tremendous benefit to have grade. I have to say it, grade is king.
Yeah, that's grade is king is 100% accurate. So, I've been here with Joe Hebert. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Outcrop Silver and Gold. Some really good points that Joe has brought up today. One that, caught my attention was, we often don't think of the precious metals as much on the on the EV side. But the electric vehicle transformation, and when you change transportation, you change the world. And that silver component as an industrial use is really important. And, yeah, you've brought up some great points. So, thanks a lot for your time, Joe, today. And, we're just going to continue to wait for more great results, and, we'll just keep buying as, when the price is on sale here.
Well, I appreciate that, Chairman. I appreciate the vote of confidence. So, and it's a pleasure to talk to you, because I mean, you're right on your questions. It's succinct, and I think you're a real value to people who are looking for good evaluations.
All right, I appreciate that comment. Well, have a great weekend. It's a long weekend for us here in the Okanagan, and we'll talk to you soon. And I'm sure we'll see you in person. And I'm assuming you're going to Beaver Creek again this year. Yeah.
I've got a bunch of good meetings set up, and Kathy's really working hard on that. And I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I really enjoyed Beaver Creek last year, and I think that's where we're really going to see full blast, people coming out to the shows. And again, I remind investors, trying to create that awareness of, now's the time, especially with the juniors. I mean, we're starting to see it. Typically, the seniors get most of the money first, and then it's the mid tiers and the developers. Don't forget about these junior explorers that, once you've done your homework, and I encourage people to do your homework, because it's, you don't want to get hurt. But take a look at Outcrop Silver and Gold, and thanks again, Joe, for your time.
You're quite welcome. And looking forward to the next time, Chairman.
Right on. Have fun.
Okay. Bye-bye.